Hey guys, welcome back to another update on the semi. I have just been killing it lately, haven't I? I have a little bit with working on the cabinets. So today is a monumental milestone. I have completed the cabinets for the office area. In our last video, you saw like 95% of them, but we still had the one left end cap to finish. That one is finished, and I'm going to show it to you here in a little bit. I'm also going to, before we go into that, you remember a couple years ago, I did a video trying to find all of the set decoration, all of the set dressing for the semi, books, lights, TVs, all that stuff. So, and you guys really came through. Thanks to that one video, we were able to identify and acquire nearly everything that's you see on a recurring basis in the trailer. But I decided to take it one step further. And I wanted to look for some of those pieces that you only see 1 or 2 or 3 times in the semi. Maybe it's an episode specific piece. Think like the taser that Michael pulls out of the cabinet for the season 3 episode Nightlines. Stuff like that. I thought, well, let's see, or the transceiver, the radio, the CB radio from Many Happy Returns. So I thought, let's put together a set decoration to find part 2. And what I'm going to show you here are pieces that either we need your help identifying or we've identified, but we haven't acquired yet. So we're going to go through all those, and then I'm going to take you inside. I'm going to show you that last cabinet, and I think you're absolutely going to be blown away. All right, let's go. Alrighty folks, let the hunt begin. We're going to start with this brief scene from Goliath. Now, if you look on the wall unit, we see this clear acrylic sculpture, I guess is the best term for it. Looks literally just like a bunch of acrylic sheets cut, notched, and put together. Now, is this like an off-the-shelf piece that someone bought and put together? I don't know. This one isn't necessarily vital to find because it was only seen very, very briefly early on in the second season. But, you know, I figure let's try and get all of even the minor props that were in the semi-set, just so we could swap things out and, you know, switch it up and still keep true to the series. So let's look at this. I know I could make this fairly easily, but let's see if this was something else. All right, moving on. The blind. Now, this is a behind the scenes photo here. So let's talk about this motorized blind. Last time, years ago, when I did a video on the semi set and looking for different pieces, we talked about this blind. I remember at the time a few of you sent me some suggestions. I can't seem to find them. So I'm going to bring this up because we're getting to the point where we actually need to purchase it. So you can see the wire hanging down here, and it's a double blind, I guess you could say. So the motorized action closes both ends towards the center, and then they open up from the center. The blinds, in some scenes, they look gray. In some scenes, they look tan. In others, they look clear, metallic. So let's see if we can find this. This is going to be about 8 feet long. So help me find blinds that we can use. 8 feet long and about 8 feet tall. All right, so next up we have our buddy RC sitting in the semi, working on a carburetor. This is a quadrajet. I know I have some extras, so maybe we'll just throw a quadrajet in there. But there's like a suitcase back here, and this is the best look we ever get of it. So it's black with metal trim. It looks like maybe a rivet here. I don't know. But let's see if we can find this suitcase. Like I said, this is as good as it gets. All right, next up, the Season 4 cart. We see this in a number of episodes in Season 4. Might see it in other seasons as well. Look, Michael's not wearing his comm link. Anyways, black top. Not black T-top, black top. Looks like it's got chrome legs. Maybe we should find these glasses too. I feel like these glasses were in maybe a couple episodes. Find me these glasses too. So if you look at the base, they kind of bulge out in the middle. Yeah, why not? Let's find a set of those glasses. We need what? 5. 5 glasses. That's strange. There weren't 5 people drinking, but they've got 5. Anyways, guess Devin's gonna have a double. So anyways, the cart, black on top, silver on the bottom. If we move forward here, we can see the cart a little bit better. You can see the legs, you can see the casters on the bottom, and it looks like they're partially chrome, not chrome, but like a brushed metal here. I don't really know what's going on there, but let's see if we can find this cart. That'd be cool. All right, next up we have this CB base station. Now this one, I know what it is. It is this realistic TRC 432 CB base station. Navajo. It says Navajo in the corner. So these are on eBay. Haven't purchased one yet, but that's probably on the list once we get the funds to purchase that. So we know what this is. This top one is actually upside down. CBPA. Does that say PACE? I haven't even tried to look for this, but let's see if we can find this, because, you know, this was, again, a 1-episode thing, but it'd be really neat to, you know, be able to set this up if we wanted to. Yeah, and just for reference here, here's that whole scene. This is from, what, Many Happy Returns. So we've got a few things here. We've got a multimeter, which I have to identify that one. I haven't bothered. So there's some modern prop stuff here that's not off the shelf, but these are the units we were talking about. And then this bottom unit is, let me see here. Yeah, it's this realistic TRC 55 transceiver right here. And again, they're on eBay. Just haven't gathered the funds to purchase this yet either. So another detail in the lounge that we haven't really paid any attention to yet, simply because we're just trying to get the rest of this stuff done, is this ceiling grid. So, and I think I mentioned this in the last video, this probably was custom made. It's probably like 4x8 sheets of whatever this is. Maybe it's off the shelf, I don't know, but this is going to be a one of the last things we do, probably, just because that's not vital. You know, we want to get it up there, but we got a lot of other stuff to do first. But I don't know, maybe you guys can find, maybe this is something off the shelf. It would be so nice if this did not have to be fabricated. So let's see if we can find that. All right, we're going to be building the boomerang unit sooner rather than later, actually. And we've got this all covered, but in Knight and Nerd, Bonnie has headphones hooked up to it. And what does that say? That almost looks like it says MPC. I don't know. And it's got a coiled audio jack there. So let's find a set of these that we can keep in the semi too. Maybe plug them into the boomerang unit. All right. So I've had a mild obsession with trying to identify the magazines in the magazine racks. The magazine rack in the semi. Of course, the magazines changed over the years, but this magazine rack was there from season 2 until the end of the series. So this is all we see in this particular scene. And I think if we go here, yeah. So you can see some of these a little bit better. Now, this is, I was trying to read this. It almost looks, it says micro or macro. And I thought it would say computing, but that doesn't really look like computing, does it? It looks like COMU, I don't know. So I'd like to identify this. Is this isn't like a 17 magazine. What is that? This is Scientific American, but there's not enough data here to see what issue it is. At least I can't tell, but maybe just by this little corner one of you guys can. Just because this was filmed in the 80s doesn't mean these are from the 80s. I already identified one that was from 1975, which I'll show you here in a second. And I don't know what this one is. It says 200 right there with, it almost looks like two fingers or hot dogs through the zeros. But I'd like to find more of these magazines to populate. This one, this is definitely an issue of Vogue. VOGUE, red letters with looks like maybe a face behind it. So I need to find that. This is a National Geographic. I have not identified which one that is. I don't know. That looks like it says business, maybe World Business something. This People magazine is actually an Easter egg. This is the People magazine, and they do a profile on David Hasselhoff here. So we have a copy of this People magazine, and there's another scene. I don't think I have a screenshot handy, but this issue of Cycle World was in the magazine rack, so I have this on the way too. So we've got two magazines. I'd like to get a couple more, National Geographic, Vogue, whatever, try and identify some of these. So this is a fun one. I like trying to figure out what these magazines are. All right, next up, the Taser from Nightlines. So Michael pulls the Taser out of the wall unit, so in the semi. So I thought, well, let's see if we can find this Taser or stun gun. So we don't get a great look at it. You can kind of see it here. And then, yeah, there's a little bit better look of it. Obviously, an 80s Taser there. So let's just see if we can find the Taser. All right. So as you guys know, we had someone donate the original, not the Screen Use original, but the same model of Craftsman tool chest that we see in season 4. This top panel here was obviously custom made, but these items down here are all off the shelf pieces. Some of them identified. I have not purchased any of these yet. They're abundant on eBay. It's just the funds, we're spending the funds elsewhere right now. But right here, we've got this Kyoritsu, I don't know, model 2803 ammeter. Here we have this Digisnap ammeter. And on either end here, we've got the Fluke 27 multimeter. So there's two of those. This one looks like it has its case. This one doesn't. This is an electronic torque wrench. I did some quick searches for 80s electronic torque wrenches, and I didn't see any that matched this exactly. So see if you guys can find this torque wrench. Eventually, we're going to get all of this stuff and recreate this. All right, stick with me. We're almost done. Bonnie's torch, also from Nightlines. I think the thing she's holding is custom made. It has to be custom made. But this torch, this one's a pretty easy one. This is an Archer Model B torch. Again, lots on eBay. Haven't purchased yet. Okay, so we're almost done. We did the transceiver, the trays. So we have the correct coffee maker. The coffee maker was normally white. It was actually painted this maroon color. We need to get the trays, and there's this little like salt and pepper shaker mini tray down here that we want to get. Yeah, there's a better look at the tray. So years ago, I remember a couple of you send me some messages about the trays. I didn't pick them up at the time. But looking for this tray, doesn't matter the color because it's going to be painted. In fact, here, look, you can see all the original white paint on this coffee maker chipping away. So we'll paint it all the same color, but we're looking for this tray with the handles on either side, deep edges, deep walls, and maybe some white coffee cups that look just like that. Those should be pretty straightforward to find. And then finally, in the lounge, we see this TV. Now, this isn't the same TV that's in the wall unit area. This is a unique one. You don't see much of it, but you do see the side, and you see what appears to be 2 dials. There's an antenna on the top, probably. This looks like a handle that's on hinges that folds over. Chrome trim. So let's see if we can find this TV. That would be awesome. All right, so that's all that I've identified that's left in the semi, some obscure stuff that we want to try and find just to throw in the semi. We have these paper trays too, by the way, so we don't need those. But love to just really have all this stuff. So like I said, we can swap displays out and just change it up a little bit. All right, so one thing that we haven't really talked too much about in a while are the track lights. So what you're looking at here is the exact model, finish, everything that they used in the semi from a quarter of the way through season 2 till the end of the series. Season 1 and the first 5 episodes filmed of season 2 had a different style, but this is exactly what we see in season 2. You can see how it's got this grooved pattern in there. Bulb goes in there. It's a track light. So, and then there's a switch back there. These are unobtainium. Almost. Obviously, I have one here. But in 4 years, we've only ever found this one that is exactly correct. And I'm talking the brushed nickel finish, the length, the diameter, the arm, everything. This is the only one we've ever found. So, you know, we need, I think, like 32 of these. And we quickly realized there's no way we're going to be able to find 32 of these. So I had this brilliant idea. Well, you know, this is just like a pipe, right? Like, I can make this. The hardest part are these arms. So I did a bunch of research and I found these exhaust pipes. I think this one might be, I think these are 3 feet long. This is the exact inside and outside diameter of the original lights. Now, the outside's going to need brushed a little bit to kind of match this finish, which is not a big deal. But then, you know, the thought was, well, here, let me show you. So I've been taking these and cutting them to the correct length. So I've got, 12 there. I still have another 20 to do, probably. But I wanted to mimic, like, this as well, which is machined into the aluminum. So one of our supporters, Larry Paul, said, hey, you know what? I can 3D print inserts for you. And he did. Look at that. Look at that insert. It is identical. Identical. And it slides right in just like this. Isn't that amazing? So he was gracious enough. He 3D printed enough for the entire set. So now that leaves, I mean, obviously the socket and everything else, that's going to be easy. The back, what we're going to do is we're going to get some discs cut out this diameter, and I'll just spot weld them in on the backs of all of those. So we'll have the backing, the switch, the socket. That's super easy. So the other thing was figuring out this arm. So I did what, you know, any normal person doing this would do, and just bought a whole crap ton of the track lights in the wrong size, the wrong color, the wrong finish, but the right arms. So you can see here, I'm not going to pull them out. There's a whole box here. I don't know. I don't think there's enough in here, but we're pretty close. So we might have to order a few more, but we're going to salvage the arms from each one of these to put them on here. So that's how we're doing our track lighting. And like I said, given the rarity of these, I think it's the only way to get it right. Beautiful. See how it fits. Oh yeah. That's gonna be just about perfect, I think. Yes. Excellent, excellent. All right. Time to cut one more. All right. So I got the two shelves cut. They fit perfectly. So now what I need to do is put some bracing under it, so we have a way to secure it in there, and so it, you know, stays where it needs to stay. So I did this with the other one, and it turned out pretty great. So basically, this is the bottom. So we're just going to do like that, and this, and this. And then we'll put the shelf in, and then it'll get glued and tacked in, and should be good. So, start with some glue here. Okay, easy enough. Okay. One more. And I gotta do it with the other one. All right. There's one. Here's the other. All right. Last one. It's right there. Ah! Just kidding. Haha. All right. So we are good to go with those. Now we can put the shelves in. All right, so we actually never see the inside of this cabinet ever. And the blueprints from Universal don't show how many shelves there are, so I'm just gonna match the other one and we're gonna do 2 shelves. The first one is gonna be right about here, about 6 inches up. So what I'm gonna do first is get some glue in here. So we can, because we want these shelves to be able to hold a little bit of weight. And between the glue and the nails, we should be able to achieve that. Now this is a tight fit. Let's push those back. Beautiful. Now, excellent. A few more in here for good measure. A lot more. Beautiful. Shelf 1 is in. All right, just like that, got ourselves a couple shelves. I had to clean up some glue there, that's why that's wet. But so these close quite nicely. So have to put the handles on and adjust it a little bit, but yeah. Another cabinet almost done. So all I have left to do here, put the banding on here and here to clean that up. Put the timbre everywhere, and then the black trim. This one will be done. All right, time to go inside. I don't have the lights on, but it should be bright enough. The sun's shining, even though it's freezing out. So let's take you inside and show you the semi. All right, so you guys have seen this in our last video. You've seen all of this and all of this, but you haven't seen this. Here is the final cabinet. What do you think? 7 foot tall, the end caps are. These were a pain in the butt to build, these round ones, but you know, they turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with the way this whole project has gone. And, you know, let me bring you in a little closer. So one thing that was driving me nuts in person was, let me bring you in closer, was seeing like the brad nail holes here. And I thought, well, you can't see them on the show. Well, yeah, you can. There's close-up shots where you see Hasselhoff or someone standing beside the cabinets, and you can see all the brad nails, the holes for them. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's series accurate. So that's what those are there for. I even captured the detail. You guys probably never noticed this, but on this cabinet, this side is all timber the whole way up. But on this cabinet, it's natural oak on this one piece right there. And I, of course, replicated that perfectly. Bring you around here into the dark side. There's the edge there. And see, it's right, this is all like right where it needs to be, because that Venetian blind, or the blind that goes here, the motorized blind, goes right up against this. So that's going to be absolutely perfect. And then it's going to transition right into the garage with Kit one day. All right, so you probably want to see what's in here. So interesting note, we never see these cabinets open on the series. The other ones we do, but not these ones. And the blueprints I have from Universal don't show if there's shelves in this cabinet or not. So I took some liberties and I added 2 shelves just like the other side. And you'll notice also this one is designed a little differently. First of all, this is only 18 inches wide. This one is 26 inches wide. You know, all these years just looking at it kind of in passing, I always thought those two were identical in their size, but they're not. This one is 8 inches narrower than that big one down there. So I added 2 shelves, as you can see, and also this opening is not bigger, but it's placed differently. So if you follow the black band, you see how these cabinets, the doors are right about where that black band is, but over there, you can see there's, I don't know, 6 inches or so, and then the door. And that's how they were on the show. And there's less space up here, more space over here. So yeah, now we got to figure out like what to put in here. And this probably goes back to what I was saying earlier in the video about some of the set decoration, like the 1 episode only set decoration stuff. Maybe we can, I don't know, put it in here or something. So I think I've nearly perfected the sliding timbre doors. Each one I build is smoother and smoother. So I found the key was to, so let me show you here. The key to making these work really well. So I routed a groove in here, as you can see, and I sanded sanded the edges, but the key was on this timbre, I beveled the edges where it runs on the track, and then I coated it with wax. And that makes these doors super, super easy to open and close. So it took me a few times to realize that, but all the doors, I mean, they all, even this is the first one I did for this cabinet. Even these ones open real nice and close. So, and then I went ahead and left, you know, all that stuff in there. It's just very satisfying to, you know, have this all done finally. So let me bring you back here and maybe you can get a, it's so big now that it's hard to get the entire thing in frame, but there you go. So I'm getting ready to order all of the wall art, the thing that goes there, that goes there, that goes there and there. So we'll have the wall art here at some point soon. I have literally 15 fabrics coming, and I'm hoping one of them is the right fabric for that chair to reupholster. But, and of course, still have to build the boomerang unit, but man, all of a sudden, you know, we're kind of close to the end, which is awesome. I have this panel is actually that one right there. It's just, I haven't installed it yet. This one right here is going to be a hidden, I've talked about this in the past, but it's going to look like this tan panel on the inside, but it's going to be on a hinge that opens. And then whenever it's closed, it's just going to, you know, look like there's no door there. So that's kind of the thought there. All right. So you may be asking yourselves, like, what's next? I still have to build the boomerang unit, but not yet. I have 2 more cabinets in the lounge area to build. I've got, actually just on the other side of this wall, there's a lower cabinet and then an upper cabinet. And honestly, compared to all of this stuff I just built, they're going to be pretty easy, I think. So, and then there's a couple hanging shelves that go in there, a little end table beside the couch in there. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep going. It's still winter here. It's still freezing. I don't know if you can see my breath. Yeah. Oh, that really showed up well. Wait. I wish I could do smoke rings like Garth Knight in Goliath Returns, like, no, I can't. Anyways, yeah, it's freezing, but it's not going to hurt anything out here that it's so cold, which is good because I don't have room for these cabinets in my heated garage. So here we go. Yeah, so I shall continue on with my work. What I'm doing between each cabinet is, like, I finish the cabinet, I make a giant mess, sawdust, tools everywhere. I got everything cleaned up, and probably in the next couple days, I'll start prepping for the next cabinet. I've already consulted Universal's blueprints, compared them to the space I have in the lounge. Looks like the 2 cabinets I'm gonna have to build in there, I don't have to adjust at all. They're gonna be exactly to spec of the originals, which is nice. Actually, none of these cabinets I didn't have to change the dimensions on any of the cabinets. They all fit perfectly. And, which makes sense because the length was never the issue, it was the width. So because this is on the long side, this was all fine. The 2 that go over there, because they're not the full width, they're shorter by design, and I think it's going to work just as is. So that's going to be pretty good. So that's where we're at. So I'm just going to go ahead and get back to work. Thank you guys for all of your support, for the GoFundMe donations, for the trailer tag purchases. That's really accelerated all of this. And I'm looking forward to just finishing this semi later this year. I can't believe it's finally going to be done after, what, 4 years? 4 years. The length the show was on the air is how long it's taken me to restore the semi, but every second has been worth it. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. I am freezing. I'm going to go back inside to the warmth. But I'll be back soon with another update on the trailer. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Hello friends, it's me, Kit. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.